Hello there, Aries. Thank you so much for stopping by for your Tarot Insights video. I just do these occasionally, just kind of as the mood hits. And what this is we're looking at one life cycle that you are in right now. And so a lot of this stuff will be current time stuff that's going to give you a chance to kind of evaluate if I'm connecting with you, if this video is actually for you, or if this is, really talking to some other Aries out there. But then once we get through all the stuff that should be present tense, then we'll start talking about the lesson or experience that this life cycle brings for you. And then that may, when we talk about that, that may be starting to already happen, or it may be something coming in the future. And then we'll also talk about what happens as you integrate that lesson or experience into your life. And once again, you may already be going through part of that, or that may be coming up more. So you'll kind of recognize where you are in this particular life cycle. I like this spread because it gives you guys a chance to tell how much I'm actually connecting with you. I use it a lot in my private readings. It's a little different in a general reading because there's so many of you out there and there's so many different stories that I may not get as specific as stuff in a general reading as I would in a private, but it just gives you sort of an idea. Okay, so Aries, the first thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about your environment. And what I'm seeing about your environment is that it looks like you've returned to something in your environment. So you could have returned to an old neighborhood, returned to your parents' place. Or you could have changed things in your environment back to the way that they used to be. So maybe you're, changing something in your house, or maybe there's something at your workplace that is changing back to the way it used to be. So let me just back up. When I'm talking about environment, what you need to know is that environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. Now, usually it does come up as home, but I have seen it show up as work or as school in some cases as well. So anywhere that you have energy or effort invested, and there's something about going back to the way things were that comes up around your environment, Aries. Now, let's look at your subconscious leanings. It looks to me like you have somebody in your life who is kind of a problem. This is someone who's an authority figure, and they don't play fair. They don't play by any kind of rules. It looks like, to me, I think that they may be changing the rules as they go along whenever you're trying to interact with them. So one day you may think that you know what to expect from them and what this person expects from you, and then you bring that to them, whatever it is you think they expect, and then, they're not satisfied with that. It's not done right, or they wanted it quicker, or they wanted it a different way, or they don't want it at all. So things are continuously changing with this person as far as their expectations and what they're telling you that they want and they need from you. And your subconscious really is working on, okay, how do I interact with this person in a productive way? How do I deal with this situation? For some of you, I'm hearing it's even a matter of, how do I survive dealing with this person? For some of you, this is a boss or somebody at work, but for others of you, this is somebody that shares your home or that shares your personal life and has a big influence on you. Okay, so somebody who has authority in your life in one way or another. So your subconscious is really working on, okay, how do I deal with this person in some kind of effective way so that my life is not turned into chaos by this person's I'm just going to say it, by this person's insanity, basically. All right, so the next thing that we're looking at talks to me about two different things. First of all, it talks to me about your learning style as it pertains to this particular life cycle that we're looking into. And also it's going to talk to me about your communication style in this life cycle as well. So, learning style looks to me like you're feeling like you're a little bit, maybe even overwhelmed, but definitely you're feeling like you have a lot to learn. And you're feeling like, it's going to be a long time before you know everything that you need to know. So there's this could be that you're looking at, a formal education, like how long it's going to take to get through a formal education, and you may be feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of time and effort that it's going to take. Or if it's not a formal education, this could just be you even going through like an orientation at work and trying to learn what to do, how to do things right at work, and feeling like things are like it's just going to take a long time to get it down. And the other thing, if we tie this in to the subconscious leaning, if this is somebody at work, if the rules are continuously changing on you every day and maybe even every hour or two, then of course you would feel like you have a lot to learn. You have to figure out how to deal with this person and actually get your job done in some kind of effective way, so that you can impress the people who you want to impress with your work. Okay, so, this isn't going to manifest in the same way for every single Aries out there, but definitely I would say you're feeling like you have a lot to learn, whatever your situation actually is here. As far as communication style, I feel like you're just starting to feel comfortable with communicating in whatever this situation is, and you have just recently started actually saying what needs to be said. I think before a while you were kind of sitting back and watching, just seeing, okay, how do things go down around here? How do things work around here? It feels like it's a very new situation. So I don't know if you have like a new boss at work, or if you're in a new job, or if this is something new, like maybe you just moved in with somebody, and so you're just trying to feel the situation out. So you've really just started to feel comfortable with communicating some things. And so I feel like as you're communicating, you're kind of testing the waters as you go to see how receptive other people are going to be to what you say. But you definitely have some firm ideas about things that you want to say and ideas that you want to get out there. It's just a matter of waiting until you have the credibility or the authority to be able to put them out there, is what I feel like coming through for you. Now, the next thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about work, and work comes to me as two different things. So we're going to look at it both ways. So I do see work as that way that you earn a living or that you find fulfillment in your life every day. And then I also see it as inner work, things that we do to improve our own character or our own selves. Okay? So, fulfillment work, money work, how do you earn your living work? What I see is that you really, and this is going to be really general because there's so many of you, but what I'm picking up here is that you're really in charge of making things happen. So this could be, I'm trying to figure out, okay, where would this like fit in? This could be a lot of different things. This could be writing grants. This could be at a management level. This could be at a supervisory level. You could be on the lowest rung and be making things happen. But I feel like there is something here to do with making things manifest that need to happen in this place. So for me, the way this comes up, I feel like whatever level you're at, you are a key player in actually bringing things into reality and in fulfilling orders, in whatever it is that the company does or whatever it is that your business done. You're the one who is making things happen. You may not be the only person, but you definitely play some kind of key role when it comes to meeting the goals that are there at work. Okay? Now, when we look at inner work is a little bit similar, but it's a little bit similar but different. That doesn't sound very smart, but that's how it really feels to me. So it is about manifesting still, but it's about manifesting the things that you want. It's about, your own personal goals. And it's about, I feel like you're really trying to overcome some procrastination when it comes to your own goals. So like when you go to work, you set the alarm, you get in there, you do what you need to do, there are people that are expecting you to do something. When it comes to your goals, there's not so many people counting on you. Maybe there's nobody counting on you but you. And so you're not as motivated or feeling as pushed to reach those goals. So the inner work for you is really to get beyond that blockage that's causing the procrastination and start reaching out to do those things that make you happy, that you want to see fulfilled in your life on a personal level. All right. That's work. The next thing that we're going to look at is going to be talking about that part of you that's being grown or expanded right now. So as I'm looking at this, what we have going on here, that part of you that's being grown or expanded is the part of you that is learning to be in touch with your own creativity. If you already know how to do that, then you're taking this to a deeper level, to a new level. But for a lot of you Aries, I feel like maybe you haven't been in touch with your own creativity. Maybe that's part of the blockage of not handling things that are, your personal dreams because you've been so busy, doing what the other guy tells you. So right now you're going through a period of expansion in this. You're learning to be in touch with your own creativity, try your own creative ideas, do some problem solving that's a little out of the box. Whatever it is, there's a lot of different ways to be creative. I talked to an accountant one time and creativity showed up in his reading around his work. And I just thought, that's odd because accounting to me, I don't know everything about it, but accounting to me just seems like numbers, adding, subtracting, telling the right people what they need to know. It seems pretty cut and dry there. To me, it didn't seem like there's a lot of creativity there. Well, this guy definitely saw his job as being very creative. I still don't understand exactly how or why he did, but he absolutely did see his job as a creative endeavor. So creativity can manifest in all kinds of different ways. You just want to look for, things where you're thinking out of the box, where you're handling things in non-traditional types of ways, and where you're doing things your way as opposed to the way it's always been done. So creativity doesn't have to be about painting or writing a book. It can be about how we do the everyday things that come up in our lives. Either way, this really just talks about getting the juices flowing and really accelerating that creativity in your life. That is the part of you that's being grown or expanded right now. Okay, so you guys have actually quite a lot going on, it looks like. I don't really have, so far, a real big theme here. The next thing that we have coming up talks to me about those things that you defend or that you stand for. And this card is influenced by Mars, so it could be that you would defend or stand for this with great, great enthusiasm. Okay? Which is a nice way of saying, this is a big deal. Somebody could trip your trigger on this and you could lose your mind standing up for this. Typically that isn't what happens, but the possibility is there. So this is something that's really important to you. And so I think that there actually has been an action that you've taken lately where you have been standing up for something that's important to you. And I think that the action that you took was swift and it was dramatic. And I think somebody's given you some flack over it. And I think you've had to stand up and defend that. You've had to say, you know what? I understand how you feel, but this was the most appropriate thing that I could do at that moment. And I took care of it. And now it's done. So just let it go. Get over it, basically. Step off the curb, Jack. Okay? That's what you've had to say. Now, how other people perceive you. Typically when I'm working with this spread, when we get to the part about how other people perceive you, remember the card that we just talked about where you had to defend yourself for taking some swift dramatic action to stand up for something you believed in? Whoever it is that you had to defend yourself from on that action, this is how they perceive you, okay? That person you had to defend yourself from. So they see you as somebody who is reaping the benefits of things that you have put into place. So they see it as basically your payday, or you're coming into your harvest, that you have put in the time and the effort. This is not any kind of thing where they feel like this is unfair. They feel like it is absolutely fair and right that you're in this place. And so really it's just kind of a matter of fact to them that you are reaping the harvest of things that you have already sown earlier. So this is payday for you. This is a good thing. This comes up as a good thing. They're perceiving this as as you getting your just rewards for the things that you have already done. And I feel like whatever it is you've already done, you've put some work or you've put some effort into something, and now you're receiving the rewards from that. Okay, so it's a good thing. They're not seeing it like, oh, well, that's karma. If you do this, of course you're going to have this bad luck or whatever. It's a good thing. It's talking about good things are coming to you and that you deserve them because you actually planted the seeds for them. Okay, so that's how they perceive you. So everything there is kind of the setup to the lesson or experience. So all of that stuff you should recognize going on in your life right now. The next things that I'm talking about are things that are potentially coming up in the future. Some of them may already be starting or may be happening, but some of them you may see them like coming down the pike. You may see the writing on the wall that they are going to be happening. And for some parts of these, you may not. You know, it may be, you know, truly so much in the future that, you know, you haven't even had any hints at it yet. So just want you to know kind of where we are when we're looking at these cards. Everything that I've talked about before should be recognizable. This other stuff that we're going to talk about now, maybe you'll recognize it, maybe you won't. That's okay. I would also say that if nothing to this point made any sense to you, then this reading probably isn't for you. I wouldn't expect anything from the future to apply to you either. Okay? Now, if you're listening to this and all of the stuff I said before made sense, then it's a pretty safe bet that the rest of it is going to be something that applies to you as well. And then, you know, if 85%, if 70%, then you have to kind of look at, okay, well then maybe about 70% of the future or 85% of the future, whatever, is going to be applicable, you know. Okay, so enough about that. Let's start moving into the lesson or experience of this particular life cycle. What we have coming up here for you, Aries, is that you are getting stronger in your own self. You're getting stronger in your own knowledge of your own strength, your own wisdom, your own abilities, your own talents, your own beauties. You're getting stronger in your self-esteem. Okay, you're not getting arrogant. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that your ego is going into overdrive at all. I'm saying you're coming into a nice, healthy place as far as your self-esteem. You're working up into that. It's not an overnight thing. I do feel like this is a process. It's not a snap of the fingers, but you are working into a more healthy place as far as your self-esteem and your ideas about your own authority and your own wisdom. Okay? Now, as your self-esteem improves, and I'm just going to say it really quickly, your self-esteem improves because that's kind of summarizing everything going on here. So as your self-esteem improves, then we have some other things that are going on in your life as a result of this improvement of self-esteem. First of all, there has been some conflict in your life that has not been pleasant. And I see you, as your self-esteem improves, I see you letting this go. I see you deciding that this actually isn't even important. It may be that somebody has been putting you down, and now you're starting to realize, wait a second, why am I fighting with this person? This person really has no influence on my life whatsoever. Why am I wasting my breath or my time or my energy? So definitely coming into a more peaceful place, letting a conflict go, and letting it go permanently is what I'm hearing because of your increased self-esteem and sense of self. All right. Also coming up, where you might have been trying to work with somebody before and collaborate with them, I feel like you're starting to realize that maybe that's not the best idea for you. Maybe you're better off doing this alone. Maybe you're good enough to do this alone. I think that you may, because of the self-esteem issue, I think you might have thought, well, I can't really do that by myself. I have to have somebody else helping me. I think you're getting strong enough now that you're going to be saying, you know what? I can do this. I got this. And you're going to be doing something on your own instead of collaborating. So there's going to be a change. There's going to be a shift in energy there. And the other thing that comes up, the ultimate fulfillment of this life cycle, actually ties in with your subconscious leanings earlier. You were wondering, okay, how do I deal with this person that's just domineering, that has influence, has authority in my life, that kind of keeps things in chaos all the time because his rules always change. And yes, it's probably a him for most of you. Could be a female. So when we get to the end of the life cycle, you are learning how to deal with this person in a way that is better for you. Okay? I think you're coming to a certain amount of acceptance about this person, that they are the way they are, and it doesn't really matter what I do. They're always going to be this person. They're always going to be a little bit grumpy about how things are because that's how they operate for whatever reason. And for different Aries, there will be different reasons why this person in your life operates that way. The bottom line when you have somebody operating that way is that they're not totally, completely healthy emotionally and mentally, honestly. And, you can't make somebody be healthy. No matter what you do, you can't make them be healthy. And so I think you're coming to that acceptance that, this person is the way they are. And if I want to continue to have this person in my life, then it's important for me to accept that that's the way they are. It's also important for me to accept that what they're doing is not personal. It's not about me. It's about them. And I think that's where you really come to in dealing with this person. You start realizing that it's not personal at all. At all. It's all about this other person's own insecurities and things that happened to them in the past, their own paranoias. But it's not about anything that you've ever done or not done. It's about them. And I think that that really helps you, as your self-esteem is coming up, that helps you to really understand that and to get that, and helps you to deal with this person in a more sane way so that they don't have you emotionally bound up all the time the way they did before. So now you can be more calm and have more peace no matter what they're doing, no matter what they're saying. You know that you've got your stuff together. And if you have to make adjustments for this person because they're changing their mind all the time, okay, you're making adjustments, whatever. You know that that's part of the ball game with this person. You've come to that point of acceptance. And I feel like you have decided that at least for now, you still want to keep this person in your life. For some of you, maybe it's just a temporary situation. For others of you, you may plan on keeping this person in your life forever. And so it's really good to learn how to deal with that person and without letting yourself be totally squelched by them, to deal with them in a more healthy way. So actually, this is really a nice outcome to learn how to deal with this person in a more healthy way, especially because it looks to me like you want to keep them in your life, whether it's just for now or whether it's for permanently. If you're going to keep somebody in your life, you can't have them getting you in an emotional uproar all the time. So it's good to see you coming out of that. So those are your insights, Aries. I hope that you find them helpful. And of course, if you would like to have a private reading where I can look just strictly at the energies that apply only to you, you can always go to my website, www.amista.info. Make sure I'm the right reader for you. And if I am, then go ahead and get a hold of me and we'll get something scheduled for you. Okay? Everybody have a fantastic, wonderful rest of your day or rest of your evening, depending what time you watch this. And I'll see you around. Bye.